Yes, guys, welcome back to the United Front. We're back again for another one of our weekly shows. Today, I'm joined by Mr. JKT himself. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, all good. All good. Still grinding our way through this international break, but we're doing good.
That's what it's all about, man. Just building up the anticipation for when your team comes back, just to be disappointed once again. That's what I always feel like with the international break. It's like you almost look forward to your team playing more than when the reality happened. You're like, I remember now.
Yeah. Especially last season through them breaks. It was nice having them international breaks last year.
Yeah. All right, cool, guys. If you're new, like and subscribe as always. We'll be coming out with more weekly content during this national break. And today, we're honoring a big anniversary. Amorim's first full year as head coach. It's been some good times, some bad times, and a lot in between. So what would you make of Amorim's first year? What do you think of it?
It's probably okay, maybe, I think. It's a hard one to say because I kind of want to ignore last season and start it from fresh, but obviously you can't. You're going on his full year. Yeah, last season was bad. It was terrible. And then the way it finished, losing like the one bit of hope we had left, and then we get Tottenham in the final. You think, perfect. Spurs in the final. This is it for us. And then the losing to Spurs, like after the season we had, was just topped it all off. But
Bro, when I saw Spurs in the final, I was knee sliding already. I was ready to take the trophy home. Champions League's back. I told you all about Amorim, this and that, but it wasn't meant to be.
Oh yeah, I was dead. It was dead. But don't know, this season, few more positives. I think it's just been a steady. Me personally, I know you're probably going to have a few some different views on it, but I go with like a steady. Is it okay so far? His first year. I think the board kind of let him just write off the last season, so I think he knows he got away with that. So kind of as fans, I'm just going to have to agree with whatever the club have gone with on that. And then now he's last few games are showing signs that we might be heading in the right direction, but slowly.
Okay, cool. So if you was to give it a rating out of 10, you'd probably be around the 6 mark, yeah?
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah.
6.5. You're bumping up the extra half point. It's like anything you can get. For me personally, it's tough to put him at like a 6 out of 10 because I think last year was probably like a 1, and this year's probably been like a 5. So if you average it out, we're looking at, in the mid 3s. We're looking at the mid 3s. It's tough because you can split into 2 if you want. I know some fans, I know Zayn on the channel is always saying like, I don't even think about last season. I can't even count it. For me, it starts off from this year with his signings. If you start it from like this year, I could see how you could give it like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, because there's been times where we've looked unplayable. There's also been times where we've looked very playable. And it's just it's the thing with Amorim, man. It's just like that. You can go from game to game and you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think last year was just so bad. Like I was sort of in the camp last year. It was like, the board kind of let him down. We didn't get him any players in January. It was a bit like no one rated the players, so it'd be disingenuous to go back and say like, oh yeah, no, what was he doing last year? Because no one really rated the players towards the end. Like we was all hating Garnacho, hating.
Yeah.
We were saying these guys are rubbish. They can't score goals, whatever. So I was sort of in the camp, but let's get in some signings, see how we develop, see what's going on. We got him some signings. I feel like we've gotten better, but I don't think he has improved much, if you know what I mean, like the manager. What do you think of that? Do you think like he's improved his coaching style, or do you think it's just better players coming in, suiting the system more?
I think a bit of both. Yeah, better players. Like the front three is better. The front three is definitely an upgrade from what we had last season. The defense looks more comfortable and confident. but I think he has started to adapt. I think the way first few games of the season, and it looked like he was just not changing anything. Like that for a while now, watching from last season, it was quite clear to see you need at least one of them number 10s out of possession to drop in and make a midfield free, or to help out them too, because we're just getting overrun. And then you also need your back three, at least one of them or the two wide ones, to step in when the wingers drop. And it just wasn't enough. And there was little signs of it this season, and it felt like, yeah, this guy's just not changing at all. And then that Sunderland game was kind of the first time I really remember seeing it, where Mount was dropping in a lot to form a free. And then, the last few games he has started to maybe adapt more. Don't know why he's decided to do it just now. But I know obviously Arsenal it started off with a good performance, just a disappointing result in the Arsenal game. Whereas if that changes, then we look at things different. But I think, it's a bit of both. He's got a few better players that suit the system more and just suit the Premier League. And he's also starting to adapt. Still a few things that he could do better.
Okay, but what do you think that you're not worried that it took a year to figure out that our midfield is getting overrun after watching it get overrun week in, week out? Is that not a red flag for you?
It is. And I don't know why. I still don't know what he was trying to do last season by not adapting. I know I get the whole point of he didn't want to completely switch his style, then try bring it in next season and it would be the same issues. He'd rather just ride it out. I get a little bit like try and get these players used to it, but there's still things within your style that you can change to make it little tweaks. Like if that's your style, fine, but notice things aren't working in this league, so now make some tweaks. And you can still say, I'm playing my style, I'm just making a few tweaks, adapting to this league. I don't know why he didn't do that at times last season.
Because, listen, every manager has to adapt. Pep adapts every season. All the best managers, they adapt. You can't sort of come in with the mindset that I've got this sort of God-given system that has to be played and it's going to work 100%. Like, you've got to be shown flexibility. And to be fair to him, I think when we won those 3 games, I feel like I was seeing a bit of it. But then when we drew those games, I was just like, it feels a bit like if the other team's not giving us chances to counter on them, then we're not really doing much.
Yeah, that is true. There, we're still not. And when we do go up 1-0 up, we kind of just we don't control the game enough. We kind of just we're 1-0 up, and then we just kind of go into cruise control, and then eventually the other team's going to they're going to hit the post or get a chance, and then the crowd's going to get up for it. Then the player's going to get up for it. And we have a 10-minute spell where we're hanging on a bit and we're going to concede. Like we're still doing similar mistakes to last season and previous years. That's one thing that, we need to, that's one thing he's got to change.
Yeah, so I fully agree with that. So, one point I always bring up to the guys is that I feel like the plan A with Amorim is fantastic. We have a week to prepare. For the first half of the game, we look great. We look amazing. And then the second half rolls around. The manager on the other side might tweak something. And it's like we're watching a completely different team out there. Like, I don't know how you feel about that or if you've seen anything about it.
Yeah. So I did see a few days ago of, I think, first half results. We were top 2. Like if you just count the first half, we're top 2 in the league. But then second half results, we're somewhere in like the bottom 5, bottom 6 or something like that, which shows. And there was times last season where we'd start to get on top in a game. The opposition manager would make a little tweak, completely take the game away from us, and we're just stranded. He couldn't do anything. That it didn't happen as much. I was a bit worried because Thomas Frank is very good at those sort of in-game changes. He's pretty good in-game. His in-game management is good. So I thought it would be a bit of a worry playing against Tottenham that could happen again. But he didn't really do nothing. We just kind of let Tottenham get back into the game rather than an actual tweak that outdone him tactically. But yeah, that I noticed a couple times last season where he was getting one little change and we're done.
Got another man joining us.
Yes, my people.
Cowley's finest in the chat.
What's going on, people? Yeah, man. Sorry about the lateness. I had to put both the kids to bed today as my missus was feeling a little bit unwell. And, you know, I'm a great dad, so I just stepped in and did what I had to do, you know. That's what I do, just step up, you know.
Stepping up.
Of course. But yeah, but I'm going to jump straight into it because I heard you lot talking about Amorim. Don't worry, I had one earbud in, yeah, listening to the shade I was hearing being thrown on my man's name.
Whoa,
yeah.
Facts.
I could hear it, Ernest. I could hear your shit. I could hear the
You heard
shade.
JKT with the stats, bro.
JKT, could also hear it as well. Don't worry, I'm here to defend it.
I'm happy
back,
you did.
baby.
I'm waiting for your rebuttal.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Basically, I think first year of Ruben Amorim has been, let's be honest, it's been a hard year, man. It's been a tough year. Last season, like this whole year, even before this year, to be honest, but especially this year, just speaking about this year, I've struggled to get up to Old Trafford. Like, it's genuinely, I'm driving up there thinking, not whether we're going to win or lose, it's how much we're going to lose by. And that is, but I can't lie, bro. As a Man United fan, your standards should never, ever be that low. At one point last season, I genuinely thought we were in the relegation battle, like genuinely as well. And to be honest, I was just praying we get to the Europa League final. Then we get to the Europa League final. I actually traveled to Bilbao. For people that don't know, I got a plane to Toulouse, drove from Toulouse for about 6 hours to 7 hours to Bilbao. Yeah. Watched that terrible game. And then about 1 a.m, Spanish time, drove through the mountains in the pouring rain overnight, back to Toulouse in France, so I could fly to Paris and then fly from Paris to Luton and then get a coach home. The whole way while digesting that horrible game. It's like a nightmare that I was just reliving. Yeah. And I can't lie, that was probably the darkest day or 2 days I've ever had as a Man United fan. I'll be honest. Yeah. The lowest I've ever been, the lowest of the low. But I'm still gonna I'm still gonna turn around and say Ruben Amorim, as of now, you're only as good as your last game, isn't it? And our last game, get me, we drew to carry on a 5-game unbeaten streak. And to be honest, the only positives that are coming out of Ruben Amorim's reign at the moment, we're starting to see them now. The fruit's starting to come out a little bit now. I feel like the seeds were planted and it rained a lot, and he was right. But now there's a little bit of a, blossom happening, excuse the poetry. But I feel like we're starting to see the fruits of his labor. He got rid of people like Garnacho, got rid of Rashford, got rid of some big players that a year ago, I would have thought first names on the team sheet: Onana, Rashford, Garnacho. These were our shining lights, bro. Højlund. They had that. Remember when we won the FA Cup final? We had Højlund, Garnacho, and Kobe all on the thing. Now all three of them are going to be gone. And like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's done a lot to change. And I'm not saying that Kobe's a problem or whatever, but Kobe's not. I love Kobe, by the way. I'm never backtracking on that. But my point is, he's had a massive job to do in very, very tough conditions. Even Pep Guardiola, who had the best conditions that you possibly could have, with all the money in the world, with a team that had just won the league a year before, when he came into the Premier League, he took City backwards. He spent a lot of money that he wasted, bought people like Claudio Bravo and these type of dead players that ended up, he didn't know what the Premier League was about, didn't know how strong these weaker teams were. Apparently he didn't even know what a second ball was until he came to this country. And shock, apparently Arteta taught him what it was. But like,
or what a chip was.
What a chip was, like dinky. You see that? Or like obviously he knew what a chip, but you know what I mean. He didn't know basic things that English football. There was people were mocking. I remember people mocking Pep Guardiola on Talk Sport because he finished, I think, third that season, first season, only just, and he was saying stuff like, "We don't practice tackling," and he was getting mocked for it. And the next season he did that 100 points and won the league. Yeah. Now, my point is, long story short, the best managers with the best conditions need time to adapt and time to understand what English football is about. And I think Amorim has had to do that whilst also dealing with the worst Man United team probably in history. And I think Amorim is slowly coming out of that bad patch, and I think we're starting to see the good days a little bit.
The good days again.
Yeah, like I said, the good days are coming. I think they are. I think he was right when he said the rainy days are coming, so I fucking hope he's right about the good days too. You know what I mean?
What do you think about the second half stuff though? Because I think it's actually a genuine problem. I feel like we do actually drop off quite a lot in second halves, and even in the games we win, I feel like the second half performances are a lot worse than the first half ones.
You know what? That's clear to see. I think all the data is there to see. I think that just goes back to squad depth, man. Like, I think if you look at the majority of goals that we've conceded this season, I think it's like a good 75% of them have been when Casemiro's off the pitch. And like, that's bad. Like, because we went into the season thinking Casemiro wasn't even good enough to be the holding midfielder. So, you know what I mean? The fact that he surprised us all and had this resurgence and he's been sick this season. The problem really is that when he comes off, Ugarte has been terrible. I don't think he's made one good decision or had one good game this season.
Tough watch.
Bobby seems off the pace. He's also not playing in that position. And we just don't have enough bodies in there. So like, I think that's the issue. I just think this is simple as solve that. You know, get a little bit more squad depth in, a little bit more legs in that midfield, and I think we'll be all right. And also, I just want to add, it's nice that we only have one problem that I can see so far right now.
I wouldn't say
not one problem, but I think like, okay, it's nice to know that our problems are clear to see, and it's just like there's a problem here, and they're quite easily solved. You know, you buy a midfielder, you buy two. That's our midfield problem solved, probably with a squad depth as well, right? You know, we got a problem at wing back. You buy a wing back, will probably be all right. We can trust that we're just going to go out and buy a player that's going to work now, because like, or one thing I want to say, Amorim has been actually amazing on, has been his signings. I think almost every signing that we've made under Amorim has been a hit. Dorgu, Sesko, Cunha, and Mbumo.
I think Dorgu, Sesko, the verdict's kind of still out there for them.
Still out there, but I think with Dorgu, the reason why I'd still say it's a success because we've bought him for what, like £20 million or something. Like that's nothing. Do you know what I mean? I think he's already probably paid that back. Like that is so not so little for a player nowadays. That even I think if we sold him tomorrow, we'll probably get at least 15 million, 20 million back for him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think the jury's still out. Obviously, a lot of the players haven't been there, but I think we're making good strides under Amorim at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But obviously, Brannico here in the chat, Dorgu's still unproven.
100%.
I think wing back is a genuine concern on both sides, because I think even the Ahmad side, realistically, when you play these good teams, you don't really want to have a right winger in defense. You know what I mean? And we bring in guys like Dalot and Mazraoui. They're decent right backs, but I think with wing backs, they can't do both. So it's almost like the opposite problem when you play Ahmad there, where Ahmad is, to be fair, for a winger, his defending is actually quite decent. But I think in the grand scheme of defenders, it's not up to scratch, is it really? So I think both wing backs need to be addressed really with like players who actually specialize in these positions. If we're going to go all in on Amorim, if the board are going to back him this hard, they need to give him like these specialists for these positions.
Don't you think wing back is such a difficult position though to have a specialist in? Because I agree with you.
Specialized position, so surely you can find someone for it, no?
But not many people play it. Like, so if, for example, you grow up in the youth, in any sort of youth academy when you're playing ball, no one's a wing back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people even centre backs, full backs, centre mids that can play full back. Or do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, nobody plays wing back, or nobody plays that, random positions that don't really exist, but like are kind of useful, like wing back or like inverted left 10. Like, that's not really a position, but do you know what I mean? It's like a place you'd be in a certain phase of a game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? The half space, like the left half space or the right half space, that's actually a right 10 or a left 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think like like if you actually try and think of like in your head right now of pure out and out wing backs, I can't think of more than maybe 2 or 3, like in the whole world. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking of Dumfries and DeMarco again, because they play for Inter and they're probably the only other team that play that system. Grimaldo and Frimpong with Bayer Leverkusen, they played that system. Other than that, nobody plays that system.
Yeah, but then it comes down to revamp scouting department to go find players who have the attributes to specialize in these positions.
I hear you. To be honest, when I look at Dogo, I do think he was like he almost reminds me of like I said this to one of my boys, like he looks like a 4-4-2 winger, like a left mid. Do you know what I mean? Which is almost the closest thing you're going to get to a right back. So I feel like his pure attributes are actually very good. Like for that, they've done good scouting there. He just needs to kind of, make the most of his potential. I think he'll be a good player for United. But he's just raw talent. Do you know what I mean? Pure raw talent. But just from his raw abilities, I think that shows good. I thought that was good scouting personally,
Yeah, as a squad player, I think that's not bad. I just think with Man United, if he was like behind someone who was maybe a bit further on in their career and was like doing the business, it would be easier. But obviously, we watch Man United, we know we build up through the wings. These players are quite important. So to sort of almost get like a project player in one of these key positions is a bit counterproductive, I think.
I agree, man. I was worried. I was surprised that we didn't get a wing back in the summer. But obviously, at the same time, we need to make a lot of changes, like to personnel in our squad. And you can't do it all in one summer. We spent like a good 200 mil in the summer after not being in Europe and having a 15th place finish. So I guess maybe under Amorim, I think what he's done in the first window and like for first and second, if you count January, I think it's earned him time in the third and fourth, like for another window, another 2 windows, maybe even 3. I think we got to be smart to not sign players that can only play this system as well. So as much as we want specialized wingbacks, we don't want players that can only be wingbacks. Because if Amorim does get sacked one day or has to leave, then we want, like Dorgu, I can see him playing left back or left wing or whatever, right, if needed. Again, Dallo can drop back in to fullback. Ahmad can go into a winger. Bruno, number 10. Cunha can go on the left or number 10 or up front. Boomer, again, right winger. He could play number 10. He could play in midfield. He could play up front. Like these players we're signing, they're not just specific to a role, which is also something I think is smart from Amorim and Ineos.
I mean, that is good. But then also, if you're going to go all in on a manager with this sort of unique style, then if you don't sort of buy those specialized players that are key in the formation, you're not going to see the full potential of the style, if you know what I mean.
I hear you. So you know what? Just coming away from Dorgu and personnel specifically, the system itself, JKT, I want to ask you, right? The system itself, I'm of the belief that too much has been said about it. It's been spoken about, obviously, a lot. And I think it's just an easy thing to pick at, which is why everyone's like, it's just 3 at the back, it's 3 at the back. Obviously, he has 1 extra centre-back on the pitch, which is why it's glaringly obvious that it's different to the majority of things, teams that have 2 centre-backs on the pitch. But, Pep Guardiola won the league with 4 centre-backs as his back 4, and then played a back 3 with them and brought one of them into midfield in John Stones. So, like, my point is, I think there's too much talked about the personnel. Sorry, the system itself. I think it's a lot to do more with the personnel and how that system is implemented. What do you think? Like, I know I heard you speak a little bit about your concerns. What are your concerns? Do you think it's the system or the personnel?
No, I think, like you said, I think there's more made of the system. I think it's more at this time right now and last season, we ain't got the players to fully fulfill that system. I can see how this system can work. And I know, I mentioned he does need to get some of the 10s to drop in out of possession, which now he's starting to do. But I can see how this system, if you've got a lot of people automatically go as defensive just because you've got an extra centre back in there. Everyone just, it's an easy thing to say of, oh no, that's a defensive system. But if you've got your back three, and especially the two wide ones, confident on the ball, comfortable bringing it out, and good on the ball. If we had a right-footed Martinez on the right-hand side and Martinez on the left with Dillett in the middle, that can be an offensive back three that can hit balls into your number 10s, into the midfielders, not just going sideways, which we do too often. A lot of our centre-backs play safe way too often and don't ping them balls into the 10. So if you've got that sorted, and when they do get further forward, they can actually hit crosses from that sort of deep position. Again, like we mentioned, Dorgu can improve going forward, or we get someone that's already developed and better going forward on that left. That's already then going to improve your team. Once we sort out the midfield issue, which we all assume is going to get sorted in the summer, that's that fix. I can see how this team can be a very dominant and offensive team rather than what the media quite easily say, it's defensive, it's Man United, you can't be playing a back three with United. Like, I can see how with the right players, this system could work. Like, I don't think there's an issue with the system. He just hasn't got the players at the time.
I completely agree. I think I'll say my piece on the system, and maybe we can move on from Amorim. But like, I just feel like this whole like three at the back thing. Look, I'm fascinated about tactics, and I urge people to go about and watch these tactical breakdowns by these little analysts and stuff, because it's mad interesting, and it's really where this is really like these little fine margins, where these managers at the absolute top level make their bread. This is where they this is what divides the the all right managers from the world-class managers. That's why I like looking into tactics and looking into this type of things. I think more's put into it. Like, one of the reasons being, like, I think people are putting more, like, giving the system more credit than it deserves. I think any system can only limit or maximize your potential by a certain amount, right? For example, if I've got a shit team and I'm playing 4-4-2 and I change it to 4-5-1, it might be a little bit shitter, or a little bit better, but it's not going to be suddenly a great team. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's only a small margin about how much better or how much worse that team is going to get by just changing the formation. Especially when, I think the second point I'm going to make is, most teams, when you look at them, a lot of them, and this is the thing that I was always really confused about with Ten Hag's system. Why was there no midfield? Well, that's because Ten Hag liked to build up in a 3-1-6, right? So when we had the ball, he'd have three centre-backs, one midfielder, Casemiro, and then he'd push another midfielder into the 6 forward that are facing across the opposition's defensive line. Now, what Amorim does, like what Arteta does, like what Pep does, like what Klopp did, like what Slot does now, is they build up in the 3-2-5. So they have 3, then 2 in midfield, then a 5 across the front, the front, right? So what happens is Bruno would go up into the 5. Casemiro stays in the deep line bit. Then the centre backs push in with Casemiro. One of the centre backs will push in with Casemiro, and so I've confused myself a little bit here. Anyway, long story short, you've got 5 people in the forward line, 2 people in the middle, 3 at the back. All teams do that. The only difference is how it's implemented. Arsenal implemented by bringing in their fullbacks into midfield and invert them, right? So does Pep. The only difference is United do it with actual centre-backs. And the reason why Amorim does that is because he believes centre-backs being in that position makes you more defensively stable. So it's just a different implementation by selecting different personnel to play effectively that 3-2-5, right? I just think too much is put into it by people who don't actually look into these tactics enough. And I'm not saying I'm a tactical genius or nothing. This is just based on what Amorim himself and Pep and these man say. So again, I think too much is put into it. Go on.
But those tactics are the system. Like the system's not just the formation. Like the way you implement it is part of the system.
Yeah, I agree. That is that. The way it's implemented is the system, not the formation.
Not the formation. Exactly.
Yeah, the formation is one thing and tactics are another thing. And I think too many people are getting them confused. But anyway, let's move on from Amorim. It's been Amorim's first year. Let's obviously hope it carries on the way this second year is just starting. Yeah, I wanted to discuss transfers, but actually just before that, I want to talk about what I've been up to this week. I went to Talk of the Devils live at Wharton Soho Theatre in London. If you're a United fan, if you don't know about Talk of the Devils, bro, get to know it, because this is 4 tier 1 top level journalists: Laurie Whitwell, Carl Anker, Ian Irving, and Andy Mitten. Very, very knowledgeable about Man United and transfers and stuff like that. They got insane knowledge base when it comes to Man United. A lot of insider knowledge in terms of the back, like the kind of backstage, the gossip on transfers. They'll tell you everything that happened, and they have their stories well sourced as well. And basically, they did a live show. It was in London. I went there. It was unbelievable. Honestly, I urge a lot of United fans to go there. But boys, man was dropping some serious, insider info on the show. Obviously, they did say on the show to keep it, under wraps.
You sign anything?
Nah, bro.
Exactly, bro. Spill the beans.
That's what I'm saying. Also, you know what? I think not enough people know us at the moment now anyway, so it's fine. But you know what? A lot of it is stuff that I think got reported, but nobody kind of thought was true, and it kind of got brushed under the rug because maybe like a tier 4 journalist in like Colombia would report it, but people were like, "No, that's not true," type thing. But like, for example, I don't know if you lot heard that apparently United could have signed Desiree Doué. Apparently we had the opportunity to sign him, and somebody in Ineos vetoed it.
Sick.
Man,
that's actually insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently. Also, speaking of Amorim, so our first choice obviously wasn't Amorim. United tried to get Thomas Tuchel, and he said no because he knew this would be a massive job, and apparently the Bayern job had put too much strain on him and his family or whatever. So he was like, I need a longer break before I jump back into a big job. So he was like, no. And apparently Roberto De Zerbi, and this has actually been reported now, like I think Andy Mitten said it on a podcast today, but De Zerbi was offered the Man United job.
Turned us down, didn't he?
He turned us down. He turned us down because he wanted crazy salary, apparently, like an insane salary. Andy Mitten's words were, he would be lucky if he's on even a third of that now at Marseille.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's mad.
So apparently the numbers were just too mad that United were like, bro, we're not bothering.
Also, he wouldn't have built a very PR friendly squad.
Yeah, not that guy's literally Conte with less hair, bro.
He's building a crazy squad over there.
He would have fought. No, he would have fought people. Like, he's a crazy man himself, bro. Like, his squad images like mirrors him, bro.
Yeah, that's what I used to call him, Gasolina Xavi.
Yeah, this guy, bro. Honestly, he looks like it. But yeah, honestly, it was a fantastic show. I got to meet the guys as well. Hopefully one day I could bring them onto the United front. Spoke to Carl Anker, Laurie Whitwell, all of these lot for a while.
Oh, sick.
Andy Mitten as well. Spoke to all of them. They came down for a drink afterwards.
Oh, is it? Were they doing questions there? Did people in the audience asking? Yeah.
Yeah, they did Q&As. And the audience, like, so the second half of the show was like Q&A. So like the audience would there was like a QR code, you scanned it, and you were able to send through like message questions, and they'd answer them on stage. So there was quite a lot of interesting questions that were sent out. Obviously a few jokey ones, a few serious ones. Some stuff was like, oh, who's your favorite French player? Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Bar Cantona, who's your, Bar,
Saint Martial,
Nah, obviously they're asking them, innit? You know me. Obviously, I would have said it. Patrice, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing show. And they dropped some bombs still. I can't lie. I can't lie, boys. I think it sounds like some serious stuff is actually happening at United, you know. I feel like for once we've actually got like we finally got serious people in charge.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the reason why I wanted to say that is because it's a good way to start this little section talking about transfer targets.
Were they leaning towards January targets, or are they talking about next summer potentially?
So next summer, one thing I can confirm to you guys on the United front is that Manchester United are looking to sign 2 centre midfielders and 1 centre back at least. I don't know why I zoomed in, but that's at least 1 centre back, 2 midfielders. Yeah. Now come back.
They're hitting you offline.
I see that. That was mad dramatic, you know. Oh, that was sick. That was sick. I'll have to clip that, I swear. That was too lit. But yeah, 2 centre midfielders, 1 centre back for Man United in the summer. And that's why I want to talk to about transfer targets. Boys, what do you reckon? Who's on your shopping list for the summer then?
JKT, take over.
Personally, out of the ones we're linked with, the one I like the most is Adam Wharton. But for the system, I think Anderson. I think Anderson or a Baleba type fit that system, the 2-man midfield, better than Wharton does. I feel like we're going to...
Sorry, I was just going to say, if it adds to anything, Andy Mitten also mentioned that Man United are the best placed, best placed to sign Adam Wharton. Sorry, Adam Wharton. Sorry. Scrap that
Anderson.
whole thing. Anderson. So yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I think, I saw that report today. I saw the headline about that. I feel like, it's going to be Anderson. I feel like it's going to be Anderson. I'm not too sure who. Baleba, obviously in the summer, was heavily linked with him, and then he's had a terrible start to the season. I don't know, that's kind of... It has put me off him a little bit. I just think, how's your head gone that much that you fully just... Like, he's a great player, but from that one little transfer link, and he's just been terrible all season. I don't know what he's going to be like with the pressure of playing for Man U. If you can't cope with a little transfer saga getting linked with us, how are you going to cope with a couple bad games and the media getting on you? Like, it's a bit worrying seeing that from him. Wharton, I feel like he's the next Michael Carrick, and for some reason I just feel like City will go and get him to replace Rodri. I can't see us getting him. So I just can't see that happening. Gallagher, the ones that we've been linked with recently, is probably bottom of my list. I'd rather not go and get Gallagher. Gallagher seems like a January loan for 6 months type of thing, which I'd rather not do that. Let's actually go out and buy players that are going to be with us, not just go and do these Sabitzer, Veghorst loans anymore. But yeah, I think Anderson's a definite. I don't know who the other one's going to be. I see Gomez if we're maybe going to look for one expensive, one cheap. He plays this system or has played it before at Wolves. Could see that maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it will be one expensive, one cheap, because I can't see us buying 2 sort of 100 mil midfielders. It just seems a bit unrealistic. But I don't know. I think I'd take Wharton, man. I can't lie. Wharton gives me the Michael Carrick vibes, but more athletic.
Yeah. You know what, boys? There's a name that you mentioned that I actually think we're going to get, you know. I don't know why I'm so confident that we're going to get this guy, but I think we're going to get him. I think Angelo Stiller. Have you not heard about that name? Stuttgart.
Yeah.
Nose.
Yeah.
Got Tiki Taka Playstyle Plus on FIFA. Basically, that's all I know about him. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I watched Stuttgart, because I don't. But from what I've read about him and from what I've seen and like numbers wise and stuff, he looks like a really good player. And I think we could get him for a bit cheaper than any of these. Because look, 2 of the 3 midfielders we've just been talking about English. So that's going to add a good 30% more of the price that they're actually worth. I think Anderson isn't going to go for any less than 80 million. I think we'll do well to get him for about 80 million pound, right? Baleba, you're looking at least 80, 90 million, at least. And with Wharton, again, you're looking at that price tag. So you're not gonna do that twice, like you lot have said. Yeah. I think Angelo Stiller is more of you might be looking at a 40 to 50, maybe 60 million pound. You could do one of them and Baleba, maybe. But I don't, because also, like, if we're gonna look inside a centre back, then again, you know, who are you gonna sign? How much is that gonna cost? I think United could be. It looks like, or it sounds like, which actually moves us on to our next topic quite well, actually, on the loans. It looks like United might explore that loan market in the January transfer window. It don't look like any of these big transfers are obviously going to happen in in January. They look like they're going to happen in the summer. But in January, we're being linked with Conor Gallagher on loan. Karim Adeyemi today we've been linked with on loan. And there's been 1 or 2 other stories that I've been seeing flying around, you know, on loan. Maybe something like a, you know, Sabitzer type, you know, beat. What do you lot think?
I mean, we need a midfielder full stop in January, just because, like, we can't do a whole year of just relying on Casemiro, because the guy, let's be honest, bro, he's been through a lot in his career, man. Those legs aren't going to hold out a whole season. Like, we need someone who can play that kind of position, can sort of has the passing ability, but can sort of hold the midfield to just come in and just do a job for a year. If we can find someone who's even remotely close, we've got to do it.
Yeah. What do you think about Conor Gallagher? Do you think it'll just be a bit? Do you think it'll be a good deal to go in, not get minutes at Atletico? Should we get him at United? What do you think, JKT?
I'm not feeling that one too much. If we are getting him, I hope it's just a loan, just a 6-month loan, and then in summer we get our main targets. He's got the energy. He can get up and down. He gets stuck. I can see why we're looking at him as a cheap, quick fix for 6 months. Yeah. He's got what we need in that midfield. So I can see why we're going for him, but he's probably, he's out of all the names we've said, he'd be bottom of my list to go for. But if we ain't got the money and we do need someone, I can kind of see why they would do it. And we know he can do it in the Prem. Obviously, being at Chelsea, had the loan at Palace. We know he can do it here. So for 6 months, it might just be like a Sabitzer, where you come and go, actually, he gave us like a 7 out of 10 for 6 months, and he helped us get to whatever league position we finished. So it could work.
Thing is, he's just like, I don't know. I just feel like he's not defensive enough. Like, do we need another player like that?
That's like, my point. He's more of like an Ugarte, like, but more attacking.
Kobe Mainoo's more defensive, like stable than him, in my opinion. So yeah, I just don't know about that. Also, I just haven't been seeing us linked with enough midfielders to loan. The midfield names for sale: Anderson, Wharton, Baleba, those 3 specifically, but also Stiller and a couple of other names here and there. In terms of January, bro, we ain't been linked with no one. Like, other than Adeyemi I've been seeing today. But I think Ben Jacobs today was out talking about stuff. But again, he was saying most of the dealings are going to be in the summer. Zirkzee, where, you know, people are talking about Zirkzee and Kobe leaving in January. But, you know, I'm also seeing stories today from Ben Jacobs, who's pretty reliable, who said that Man United don't want to loan either of them, and there's no chance that either of them go out on loan. Like, I even saw that from Lockhurst today as well. So maybe that's been a briefing that they're definitely not leaving. I just don't know. I just really don't know who we're gonna. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, I do trust the people in charge now for probably the first time in a long time, bro. Definitely in my adult life. Definitely. So it's the first time I trust the people at Man United to actually make a decent footballing decision. I think because it's one game a week, we might get away with not bringing in a midfielder on loan. We might get away with just maybe loaning in a striker or something. Or
I think the drop off between Casemiro and the next best option is just too big, man. Whenever he comes off the pitch, it just looks crazy.
Yeah, but you're not going to get anybody like.
It doesn't have to be just someone who's suited to just playing as a holding midfielder who can like pass the ball a little bit. Like it's not.
Thing is, if they're decent, no one's gonna want to sell in January. Even if they're like just decent, they don't even have to be that good. They just got to be like good enough to not want to be sold. Do you know what I mean? That's not actually that bar's quite low. Like, well, I think we risk going and getting an average player for big money in January. Whereas if we wait till the summer, we can spend that big money on a big player. And if we could just get through to the summer with Casemiro and I don't know, let's hope we can get a tune out of Ugarte. Like I wouldn't, you know, because look, at the end of the day, bro, we spent 50 million on Ugarte a year and just about a year ago, like in last summer after we won that FA Cup.
That doesn't mean anything, man. Price tags don't mean anything. We know as United fans.
I know it don't mean nothing, but I'm just saying, innit? Like, he can't be that bad. In fact, one of the things I was actually said at this Talk of the Devils thing, Laurie Whitwell said that apparently after the Europa League final, when Amorim blasted all of the players,
cussed them out, didn't
he told Garnacho to find another club. Apparently, that was in front of all the players. It was in front of everybody. He said, "You better hope somebody else find you." But also, he said that Ugarte apparently took some heavy criticism. Like he was one of the worst out of all of them, because he was like, "You're not the person. I don't recognize you. You're not the person that I knew at Sporting. You're not intent. There's no like intensity in your game anymore." Basically, being like, you fell off. And to be fair, that hasn't actually helped change Ugarte's performances at all. Shit.
Yeah.
I don't think literally, bro. So basically, I'm hoping Amorim can work with him and we can just get a half decent player from Ugarte. If we can get that till the summer and then maybe part ways and go get one of these big names we're talking about, I think that's probably the best solution in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think we need two midfielders in the summer, full stop.
Yeah, I also think it's hard.
Sorry, go on.
I also think it's hard for some of these guys that are just on the bench every week. They just get a 15 to 20 minute spell. There's no rhythm they don't get any match rhythm because all they're doing is Ugarte or Mainu. They come on for 15, 20 minutes and they got to make an impact in that short little spell. You've got to make an impact. Otherwise, you're back on the bench. Even if you do make an impact, you're probably on the bench anyway next week. But they've literally just got not having Europe. Normally, Europa League or a couple group stages. League. Yeah. That's when you can get your minutes in. So your fringe players can get some minutes in and then you can drop them in and out. But because it is just one game a week, it's not really... They haven't got any time to build up that match rhythm. So they're coming in rusty, dropping stinkers and then doing the same again next week. So it is hard.
In midfield.
Yeah, there's lack of cup games are killing us, man. Mate, even killing the fans, bro. I can't even apply for away tickets.
Something else to watch.
I can't even apply for away tickets until the first cup match has been played because like I'm not there. My tier of season ticket ain't there yet. Like I'm like, bro, it's just jarring. Like so. You're right. The lack of cup games is really affecting the squad, because the squad, not the 11, but the squad. I think the 11 we got is like our starting 11 is solid. I think it's a good team. But like you said, that drop off, Ernst, that you said that drop off is too big, man. And we look we look the most vulnerable when that drop off happens, and teams will exploit that. The Premier League these games have been going for 95 plus minutes. And these players will go to the last second, bro. Premier League's known for these last minute goals, last 5 minutes would switch the whole game up. We saw it against Tottenham. The league is full of that craziness. You know what I mean? That don't happen in other leagues as much as it happens in the Premier League. So teams will exploit that if we don't fix it, and it's up to Amorim to fix it. Obviously, we're actually not that far away from January now, so I guess we will start to see.
What do you think about looking into the academy, though?
So, obviously, the big name in the academy is Sekou Kone for that position in midfield. Jim Thwaites is also a big name that has been doing really well this season. I've watched a lot of Jim Thwaites' highlight reels, and he looks amazing. Like proper good. Like he's like for those who haven't seen anything of him, he's like a Modric-esque type of baller. Great switch, like really great range of passing. Fantastic on the ball. Great. He's a set piece specialist. He's a proper player, like proper midfielder, good in the tackle. Like obviously he still looks a bit young, like a little bit small, but he's a proper baller, man. Proper baller, Jim Thwaites. Proper old-fashioned, like deep line playmaker with a defensive like side to him. I like it. Who else we got? And then obviously Sekou Kone, who the young, is it Cameroon? I think it is. Under 18. He's good as well. He suffered a really bad injury about a month and a half ago, really bad head injury, and he's only just come out. He's only just come back. Oh no, he's coming back, I think, like next week. But yeah, I don't think they're ready yet, if I'm honest, with the youth team. But we do have some unbelievable talent in there. But considering, where we are right now, I heard even Amorim said that he won't have the opportunity to give them the opportunity this season, sorry. So, and he's right. He's not even having the opportunity to give players like Kobe who are on the bench there. So, but yeah, let's get into the comments. Oh, we've had a little little bit of discourse happening there. We love to see it, guys. Everyone that's in the comments, make sure you like the video, and if you're new here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Yeah, this is what we love. Love to see it. Hi lads, the algorithm threw me here, but I'm a United fan. DJ Darkest Night. Welcome, DJ Darkest Night. Yeah, the algorithm threw you here because you're meant to be here, bro. Yeah, this is fate. I mean, it's brought you to the best, not well known, but best United channel out there. Don't worry. Like Cowley, Tactical Genius. We're in the glory days again. Cool. All right, these man seem like they're just having their own conversation in here. That's okay. Right. Zayn, Anderson's my number one. I like that. Ugo Chukwu, Augustine Godswill says hello, viewing from Nigeria. Shout you out, Ugo Chukwu. Zayn asked him Anderson, Baleba, or Wharton. DJ Darkest Night says Wharton. I never thought of him. I like the character vibes. I'll have to go check him out again. I've just gone off Baleba. I think it's attitude, says DJ Darkest Night.
Yeah, it's concerning the drop off.
I agree with that as well. It's the worry, man. If you're going to be pressured after a couple bad comments at Brighton, imagine what will happen to you a couple bad performances at.
No time to rest at Man United, man. You can have good performances and still get cussed up.
Eaten alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zayn does say that Anderson number one for sure. Shout out Zayn, man. Give him a follow and subscribe on his channel as well. Shout him out. Although I don't know if he's actually posting anything on there, to be fair, but still shout him out. Seems like Zayn and DJ Darkus are having a little bit of a conversation. Zayn goes, "We need Anderson immediately." I think we do need Anderson really, really soon. I'm not going to show. Appreciate if you could read that YouTube comment. Absolutely, this is what we're trying to do. Sorry, we did go on a very long tangent, by the way. Talking about all the midfielders, because we've got so many midfield problems. We could literally go on about it for days. But yeah, shout you lot out, man. Shout you lot out. Anyway, it's probably a good place to end it, to be fair, boys. It's an international break, so obviously not going to be much on our socials over the next 2 or 3 days because there's nothing to show you. But we will be back on Monday. Talking Man United, looking forward to the week ahead. I've got some interesting content ideas coming up. So, you know what I mean? Watch your space. Hopefully there'll be some good stuff coming out. Ernest, JKT, anything you want to say?
Nah, just, you know what I mean? Thanks for watching, guys. Obviously, my guy DJ Darkest Night, you know, we are a lot more interactive than usual. Just today, the topics were a lot to talk about. Tune in some more shows, and trust me, you'll see we're always reading comments. But yeah, man, other than that, just have a good night, lads.
Cool. Everybody take care, and we'll see you back here Monday, 8:30, or unfortunately, like today, maybe 8:45. Shout you out, TJ Darkest Night. It looks like we've made a friend here. You know what I mean? Let's shake hands and leave it there. Hey, good night, my brother. Take care, people. We'll see you soon. Peace.